You are about to opt in to Monerotopia, a show for the Monero community where all are welcome to join. From noob to maxi, no matter what bags you hold. Just sit back and relax to the sweet sounds of Monero's latest progress. Or if you're feeling inspired, join us on stage. Remember, the only thing that can stop Monero is a false belief that it can be stopped. And if you want to win the revolution faster, we recommend you remove your XMR from all custodial exchanges immediately. Warning, voting accidents are common around here. Don't forget to properly secure your private keys. Monerotopia starts now.
Alright. Wait, what is going on? Oh, Rumble. It's not streaming on Rumble or something? We're having trouble streaming to your destination.
I will check in a minute.
Okay. How's it going? Good morning, guys.
It's going.
I'll put XMRchat.com/Monero link in the chat for people that want to send Monero-based super chats. How you guys doing? Shortwave, how you doing, man?
Oh, can't complain, can't complain.
Oh, we can complain. There's always things to complain about in crypto and in Monero land in particular. But yeah, times are pretty good. I'd say times are good for privacy coins right now. The meme is spreading. Monero is certainly a big part of that. This week, I don't know. How would you guys sum up this week? I was a little out of touch this week. I had a lot going on in my non-crypto life. What I miss? Last week was the mega Zcash pump. The week before. Well, what was the theme this week?
Everything cooled off a bit, I think.
Silence, I think, was the main answer to that. There wasn't a whole lot going on, at least not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Yeah, market definitely cooled off. I guess we'll hear from Bawdy as to what he thinks. I mean, yeah, I think like you said last week, it still looks like things are, headed in the upper right direction. Just maybe a temporary cool off. Who knows?
There is some worry with some local banks or whatever. Again, like 2023, there's some worry about that with the Tricolor Auto and the First Brands or whatever bankruptcies causing some problems and the trade war. But other than that, it's pretty quiet.
Yeah, that caused some
Monero.
Right. That caused some spikes in the market, right? What's going on with the bank? I haven't been following that. Why are these banks going bankrupt? What's the issue? I've totally have missed that story.
Bad loans.
But it was like home loans, because that doesn't. I'm surprised that would be an issue right now.
No, the Tricolor Auto and First Brands bankruptcies. So those business loans caused those banks that had those business loans to have holes in their balance sheet.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean, sheet that's already fake.
I know. I see a lot of people like hoping for like the next 2000. Not hoping, but some people are hoping for like the next 2008 crash.
Well, remember when the Silicon Valley Bank thing happened, they didn't actually fix the regional bank's problem. They just papered over it temporarily, so it never truly went away. So the fact that the local banks have bonds that are underwater and these commercial real estate loans that are going bad, that never actually went away. It just got papered over temporarily.
Okay. But I doubt it's as systemic as what we saw in 2008, right? That was with everybody was getting these crazy mortgages. I just not as much of it now, right? People got in, they got cheap mortgages like pre-COVID or even as COVID was happening. And then obviously everything shot up, but most of the, a lot of people aren't even taking those mortgages because they don't even have the ability to get into the homes in the first place. But Tux, what are you alluding to?
We did a lot of bailouts in 08. And that only serves to hurt us further down the line.
Right, so as in that might come back to haunt us soon?
They just they're gonna play the game as long as they can.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't see the makings of a 2008 type thing coming up.
Well,
But
I think it
maybe,
depends. I think it depends. In 2008, we had the mortgage issue. If
Yeah,
in
that was huge.
2025 we start to have business bankruptcies, then people are going to lose their jobs due to business bankruptcies.
Yeah. So what? But why would this be so systemic? This business bankruptcy, what's causing that? What was they gave out too many business loans?
That's from what I understand. I think Bawdy would have a better grasp of it. That's
Okay.
what I understand, though.
Yeah, these are Bawdy questions. Obviously, I mean, all these things, whatever. Good time to hold crypto, right? Good time to hold Monero. Good time to hold Bitcoin, in theory, if they function as intended.
Time to hold gold.
Good time to hold gold, for sure. I don't know. You might be peaking though on the gold. I don't know.
I did see. I think I saw like pictures or news articles or something of like people in Australia and different places like that, like literally like lining up outside of queuing up outside the buildings to buy gold.
Right. That starts to sound like a top indicator at some point, right? Like, I don't know. Who knows? Once again, that's a Bawdy question. It is amazing to see, right? I don't think there's most people would not have predicted the rise of gold this dramatically in the last couple of years. The idea was that Bitcoin was the new gold in town, right? And meanwhile, gold has done pretty damn well just on its own. So that's been pretty interesting to see. But it does an indication that it's just generally opening up people's eyes, normies' eyes, to this idea that, fiat is a scam, right? Anybody who's buying gold has realized fiat is a scam, I would think. So then, Bitcoin, Monero is just a step away.
Just one of the next things people are eyeing as well. But I mean, gold would inevitably go up a lot. Over time, it seems to
always
go
has,
up more
right?
and more and more, relative to inflation and the government is printing. But of course, Bitcoin was still ultimately, obviously a better buy, considering, the price. But I don't know. I'm not fully convinced on like the actual value, like legitimate value proposition compared to gold. Like we have to be honest. Gold's it's physical. It's used in millions of applications.
Tux is a mini Peter Schiff over here.
I think
Peter
I saw.
Schiff, though, he really kicked himself by not. He was always like, "Oh, I'll never buy Bitcoin." It's like meanwhile Bitcoin just continues skyrocketing. Gold's like, kind of getting up there.
Right. He doubled down on that a little too much, right? Like,
really
you should
and
just
he keeps saying it's gonna like go to zero.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, this thing is fully, it's like, its value is basically centralized at this point, which is not like ideal for the project as a whole, but it also means that it's $110,000 right now.
I just saw a repost. I don't know if it was posted a couple of weeks ago or if it just came out recently, but apparently coin cards in September, 68% of their trades or whatever were for Monero.
nice.
Which is surprising because they actually have fees for paying with Monero now because they lost their liquidity provider, Kraken, because Kraken delisted Monero in Canada. So they actually charge a fee just to use Monero, but people still rather do it anyway. Because, I mean, the fee you're paying might, not be that much compared to the fee you could be paying on-chain, depending on the time. Like, Bitcoin hasn't been that bad in a little while now. You're paying, maybe 50 cents for a transaction, which is still, relatively high, but...
I mean, yeah. Listen, Bitcoin is not. It's not digital gold. But it is an untethered asset like gold. It's definitely has become that. It's living up to that. I don't think anybody can deny that. I mean, it's $3 trillion now or something. It's like 110x away from gold. It's perfectly traceable digital property. That is the value proposition.
Yeah, you see their Twitch. People been pointing this out the past week is that the @Bitcoin X account.
Yes, I'm like, finally they're
digital
embracing
gold
what it is. Like, all right,
bio.
I could get behind that. Like, that is an
Yeah.
accurate description of what Bitcoin is. Embrace it, and there's value there. There's it's like like Saylor says, like, as dumb as it sounds, like owning a piece of Manhattan, right? So it's a piece of digital property that
I'm
that
just
has
glad they're
perfect.
being a little more honest now.
Exactly.
The whole meme about like Bitcoin being private can finally just die.
Right.
I missed this. What happened?
So at Bitcoin X/Twitter account, their bio says trackable digital gold or traceable digital gold, one of those.
Oh, nice.
I would
Yeah,
say
trackable
digital. I would say trackable digital property is the accurate description of what it really is. It's it's perfectly traceable digital property. It's a ledger that keeps track of who owns what amount of it. It's there forever. Has
The meme
perfect
is so
provenance.
true though of nobody using Bitcoin. I mean, like, look at how like famous it is. Look at how like much it's valued. Yet, the last block only had 325 transactions in it. Like literally no one uses it. Like actually.
The
uses it.
the use is holding it and speculate. You're holding value. It's a store of value. That is the use. Obviously, does that fundamentally work at the end of the day? Can a system sustain itself on that concept? I'd say that's to be determined. It's worked to date.
If there's
but
one that does it, it's realistically only going to be Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because it's the big first one. Because like normally you see something new coming along, this thing's not going to hold that much value just because it exists. Bitcoin gets that privilege because it was the first one.
Well, I'd say there'll be others that will be stores of value as well. I mean, they'll go up in value over time.
Nothing close to Bitcoin at all. I mean, look at Litecoin, right? Litecoin came out a long time ago. Yet it's only $120, not even. Just because it doesn't really do that much more than Bitcoin. Yeah, it's more scalable. It's got a little bit of privacy, but the interest just isn't there.
Yeah. If theoretically, if Litecoin was to be the same market cap as Bitcoin, it would be what, like something like half, like $50,000, just because it has 42 million instead of 21 million or something like that.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying though is like it's not proven that Bitcoin can be a store of value in perpetuity, right? Because of the way it's architected.
No, yeah, I mean,
doesn't
really
have the
it's
tail
up to
emission.
the-
It doesn't have is the network, this multi-trillion dollar, $30 trillion network, going to have enough? Is the security model going to work?
I think we're going to start to see come 2028.
As opposed to Monero, which has a arguably better security model long term, right? So I don't know. And I do think there'll be other stores of value. I don't think it's going to be. I'm sure there'll be one that does is the most digital gold but definitely there'll be other super high value networks that will grow over time as more people use them.
Ethereum
They become more valuable. Ethereum's not going
and all
anywhere.
its L2s and sidechains.
Yeah. And then I'd say a Monero, or whatever wins that digital cash utility. Obviously, Monero is in the lead right now.
I mean,
But I don't
already
think-
won.
Yeah.
In this very niche, limited space that exists already.
Yeah, among the actual people that use digital cash, it's the winner. But I don't think we should assume that will always be I don't know, man. I don't know. There's competition out there. We gotta be vigilant.
Yeah, and they're not sending their best.
And Monero's got a lot of work. It's got a lot of work right now. It's definitely far from perfect. We're fortunate in that we do have first mover advantage. Essentially, we have we kind of hit a little bit of the network effect before anybody else trying to do this. But we made those arguments in Bitcoin land too, right? Like that, there was MySpace before Facebook, right? We gotta be careful here. It needs to be able to handle the usage. It needs to be able to scale. People need to be able to easily obtain it so we can grow as fast as others. Like we're lacking on ramps, off ramps right now. It's a major problem in Monero. I'm thrilled to see that there's movement happening to fix it. I guess that's a big story this week. Thorchain talking about adding Monero. And then like even that became drama. Like, oh no, we don't want now. It's like now we don't want Thorchain to have Monero. Like what the well, guys,
that's
let's
really
get on
why.
the same page. Come on.
Can
we all please agree?
Luke Parker's take on it.
Yes, and whatever Luke says, I defer to him. But that being said, like, shit, man, can we still get Monero on Thorchain, please? I get that they made mistakes,
if they
but
could
they're
flesh out their proposal and be more like concise on stuff and be more clear and not expect like the entire.
But can we help them a little bit? Can we like help them do it? Like please, like
the
they
real
want
questions that are arising is why did they try to do this years ago and just never actually went through with it? That's the I think the issue people are having with.
Well, we were there. We all witnessed it. It literally happened in person at Monerotopia. Was like when like the dramas began. And there were multiple issues, but there were technical issues. It just wasn't easy to do, and like Haven was assisting. They were supposed to be doing the development. They ended up completely failing as a project because the algorithmic stablecoin, the architecture they had just failed, didn't work. It had an exploit. So that was part of the problem, right? Because they weren't able to keep working on this integration when they, were failing as a project. Monero didn't take it on itself, right? We left it up to them to work with Thorchain, and the idea is if they got it working, it would work for Monero too. We didn't really do much, as far as I understand, from the Monero side, and then like the Thorchain people were complaining, like it's gonna be really hard, without understanding the tech. But basically, there were things about Monero that made it difficult, and it's like we didn't really help make it less difficult. And then on top of that, the Thorchain community was concerned about adding Monero because they thought it would bring the wrong kind of regulatory attention towards them, and they didn't, they were number go up based, right? And that was where the drama was and the controversy. And that was real. That was really that happened. That we watched it happen.
I believe
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's the funny part.
But there were those in Thorchain that were very much opposed to that culture. I'm forgetting the guy's name, but he was the guy that actually came down to Monerotopia. Chad Bradford, is that his name? Yeah, Chad Barraford. He's a good dude. He's like a real cypherpunk, and he's a Thorchain OG. He's like one of the main devs or whatever. So he's always been pro. Let's add Monero. He's always been that way. He came down to Monerotopia for that. He's always been on board. Really nice guy. Seems to be very principled, but it was the rest of the community that kind of backed away from it, and it was for those reasons. And even Chad, had the issues with the integration because of the technical reasons, not because of not wanting to add it to avoid regulators, but because it was just difficult to do. But my understanding is now things have changed a little bit on the Monero end, and now it's easier to do. And things have changed drastically on the Thorchain end in terms of there being the political will to add Monero. It's now cool to add privacy coins in Thorchain world. They've accepted it. They're now, the cypherpunk culture has kind of taken over there, or grown back, become a stronger part of the culture there. So they're looking to add privacy coins.
It's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Everyone capitulates at some point.
Well, this is great though, but I don't think we as the Monero community should be like, told you so. We should be like, all right, welcome aboard. No, don't be wrong. It'd be really cool. And I mean, we have Thor Swap and Cake Wallet, so that would be useful. It's there already in Cake? I didn't
realize
that.
Thor Swap, yeah. Yep. Just not very used because they don't have Monero, and Monero's a big user base. I just don't know all the lore and the details, so I can't really give a well-rounded.
Hey Tux, can you up your volume just a little bit?
Yeah, is that better?
I mean, basically what I covered, that's it. That's the lore. I mean, you could get into the details of what the technological issues were with Monero. Obviously, it's had something to do with the multisig. And then there's some note
Which
function.
is easier to do now, right?
Yeah. I think Luke is the one who's like, yeah, no, that's not a problem. But Luke has issues just because of his dealings with Thorchain. I think he did some serious like work for them. He helped find some exploit. And
that's right.
They never paid their
that.
bills.
Yeah.
So I get that, like
some
fucking pay. Maybe this kid, maybe that could be part of the negotiation. Now pay Luke what you owe him, right? Yeah, I'm all for being on board with that. But in return, we'll help you integrate Monero into Thorchain. Last I heard, it sounds like they're moving ahead with it, like with or without Monero's help, which I think is great. I think that's
all right.
that's fantastic.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
I even put a tweet up about it. They had a Spaces. Chad was in on the Spaces. I'll try to get him on the show. I'll try to do Monero talk with him. Oh, trying to get him involved in Monerotopia. So maybe we'll get Thorchain down at Monerotopia. Here we are 3-4 years later. We're trying again. All right, guys. Let's make it work this time. And yeah, we should actually play that. I should have made that part of the news. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I'll play it. I think it is.
The response is not looking in their favor if they want that community funding. But if they go and start working on their own, that would be really cool to see, and maybe then they'll gain the community's trust again. So
yeah, and Chad was saying, I think like it could be integrated pretty swiftly. Like we're talking like by potentially by Monerotopia, potentially by early 2026.
Well, that would be cool. I won't hold my breath, but if they manage to make that happen, serious respect will go to them, and they will get a lot of people swapping within Cake. So.
Yeah, I won't play that. I won't play this video. Actually, that's just boring. But you guys can see it on my feed. It's just a clip from the Spaces where Chad basically outlines what's going to be involved to do it, how long the potential timeline is going to be. So exciting to that's like excites me, man. And I feel like that's a little bit also coming out of what we're seeing with Zcash and the Monero Zcash like war that's happening right now. Monero is being forced to step up its game, right? Yes, we are the leader, but now we have somebody who's on our ass, right?
I got to point this out. I don't know if you saw Monero Bull's reply. He said, "We don't care if they edit it or not. We are specifically against using Monero community funds to pay for it. Besides that, I'd confidently bet 50 XMR that they will, in fact, not be live by Monerotopia."
Yes, I saw that. I'm not taking that bet either. I sure as hell ain't taking that bet, but we see how long it takes for things to happen. I mean, look at Sarai. I mean, I would love for Sarai to launch first, and maybe this even helps have an effect on that. Like, all right, let's get it out the door. Thorchain's about to launch. Let's get Sarai up and running first. I think we should get it up and running first. I would love to see that happen. Like I said, I didn't realize Thor was already in Cake. That's huge.
Yeah, we have Thor's swap, which
I mean that overnight that would change as soon as they add it. That would probably become like the most used swap in Cake Wallet overnight.
Poor Trocador.
Well,
yeah, there is that, and I do love Trocador. I really do. They're so supportive of us, and they have currently a great product. It is like one of the best ways to get in and out of Monero.
I kind of wonder though if the Trocador guys, like whoever's in charge of Trocador, I hope that when they created this thing, they knew that they were going to lose at least their Monero part of their business at some point. Like it's kind of one of those things of you have to make it and know that you're going to be made irrelevant and kind of want to be made irrelevant.
Yeah, it's kind of like coin cards. That's what the coin cards guy was always saying, and he was right. Here they are now. Kraken basically shut down or delisted Monero, and so it's like he can't do the coin cards things with Monero easily anymore. He's always said it's a temporary bridge. Yeah, Yeah, I would say that even goes so far as centralized exchanges. Like I always kind of described Coinbase as being the AOL of crypto. Like one day it will just no longer exist. It's going to get like, it's going to become irrelevant like AOL. It's a walled garden now. It's the most popular garden. It's like what everybody's using to get into crypto, in and out of crypto. But one day it won't even exist. Everything will be decentralized
because everything will be in crypto and nobody will accept fiat anymor. And so it's
you won't need it. And if you're trading between cryptos, you're using decentralized exchanges because you're just going to be getting better rates there. It's going to be more liquid. It's just going to win. It's going to win. So and this is
relevant one day.
This is really, this is where Zcash is winning, right? You go to that Zashi app. It's very simple. Just holds Zcash, and they have built into it whatever Near protocol or whatever it's called. Near, what is it called? Near something.
By the way, your departure time has arrived there, Doug.
Okay, I'll get going. But it allows you to do that instant swap, like it's like a Thor chain.
That is a cool feature, and that is one of the things that, like, we're seeing, I guess, the pros of Zcash kind of being more connected in that way is that it is, I guess, to a degree, more liquid than Monero in just the sense it's a lot more available on exchanges. But that does come at the cost of them having kind of this corporate sort of infrastructure behind or setup behind Zcash and its development.
I wonder if there would be any will to do a Zcash to Monero pair on Ritu swap, just because of the fact that if Zcash is more liquid,
here you go.
If Zcash is more liquid than Monero, at least on centralized exchanges.
Yeah, it becomes a good way to get into, right? Like, why buy Litecoin, which is traceable, when you can buy?
Well, if you're going to be buying Zcash from a centralized exchange though and withdrawing it, I don't think you can withdraw to a Z address to a private address.
You can on Gemini.
Okay.
You can on Gemini, which is in New York. Like, come on. We got to be real about this stuff at some point. So
we also have to be honest about why they're allowed to exist.
Because we know that Monero,
they're allowed to exist because they went and lobbied the regulators. That's why.
Because we know that Monero can't be shut down. If there's a Bitcoin to atomic swap to Monero atomic swap that exists, or a Zcash to Monero pair on Ritu swap, you cannot ban Monero. It's impossible. It
is a potential bridge, and then for getting out of it too, and getting back into centralized exchanges to if you need to get cash, if you need to get fiat. All right, let me shield this really quick because I do have to hit the road. Do we have anybody that can jump up next? We don't have Tony or Bawdy yet.
No, I guess I could run the news if we got to do that.
All right, yeah, if you don't mind. But let me quickly just shill Monerotopia, guys. Monerotopia conference happening at the same venue as last year and the year before. It's a beautiful venue. We'll have the huge Monero accepting marketplace going in Huerta Roma, February 12th to the 15th. It's coming together, guys. It's coming together. Thank you to Cakewall and Edge, our two main stage sponsors. Recently, since last week, I don't know. We have Amir Taki on there. Diego Salazar, I think I mentioned him last week. But yeah, he's on there. JPthor, obviously one of the main devs. We added CipherGoat as a privacy tech project sponsor. They're another instant exchange alongside Trocador. We'll be adding our VIP sponsor. I'll announce that next week. Our VIP dinner sponsor. We have CipherStack down here. Diego's gonna bring some people from the team, so that's really good because they're the heavy hitters in terms of Monero Dev Talk. They are the ones that have done the auditing for full chain membership proofs and have been very integral in that. So they'll even if we don't get Luke Parker down there, which I hope we do, we'll still have other devs. Obviously, Arctic Francisco is going to be joining us. We're in talks with lots of other people. It just all has to come together. If you want to participate, please grab your ticket today. That helps, gives us more momentum. grab your plane ticket, start making plans, bring your friends, bring your fam, bring the young ones, the old ones. Everybody's welcome at Monerotopia. Everybody can have a good time there. It is definitely like a very welcoming vibe. It's just a cool thing. You have live music going on. It's not like, you just have to sit in like a hotel, like lame venue indoors and watch talks all day. Like there's a lot of other things to do at Monerotopia. Don't get me wrong, the talks are amazing, and those will be happening in the main stage dome. Trying to get other privacy tech projects involved, so I'll be announcing those as we add them. And yeah, if you want to participate in any way, email me, monerotopia@protonmail.com. If you want to come be a vendor down there, if you are a privacy tech project, you want to get involved, we'll make it work for you. If you're a well-funded project, yes, we'll ask you to sponsor. If you're just some like startup, but you're working on interesting things, we'll get you involved for free. So reach out, monerotopia@protonmail.com. If you want to volunteer and help out with the conference, be a speaker, be a vendor, whatever it may be. You want to do a live performance, you're a musician, we can get you involved that way. Monerotopia@protonmail.com, or any other ideas you may have. They're always welcome, and that's how we continue to grow this. So I will leave it at that. Tux, I'll let you take it away. I'll be listening in. I have to hit the road and go do some fam stuff, and hopefully I can jump on again later after we finish price report and news.
No worries.
Alrighty. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Take care. All right, guys. I think we're going to go ahead and jump into the news. Hopefully get price report right after that. Looks like Bawdy did join up, but I'll give him some time to get ready. So go ahead and jump to the news here. And let's go ahead and run that.
The Monerotopia Weekly News segment is sponsored by WizardSwap.io, a non-custodial cryptocurrency exchange.
PrivacyOG said Zcash cannot be bought or sold even in Gemini Direct to or from a shielded address, must be transferred address first. Oh, I mean, yeah, that's kind of where the whole compliancy thing comes in. Is that to interact with the exchange platform, you have to, I guess, unshield your Zcash first, or I thought you could. I don't know. I don't really know how it works. I thought you could send from a shielded like pool to a T address, and that would be like the process of unshielding, but maybe not. Anyway, let's pull up my screen here. I'm going to resize this a little bit. All right, so first up, we've got a post from yours truly, Cake Wallet. Your Cake Wallet just got a serious upgrade. Trezor and Bitbox hardware wallet support, base L2 integration, tokenized stocks trading, and return of Monero Orange theme. So I know a lot of the stuff you guys probably don't care as much about. We do get more hardware wallet support. I think there's a couple Trezors that support Monero. And then we've got base, of course, which has become very popular. Which is the L2 on Ethereum. And this is actually pretty cool. We got tokenized stocks trading. So you can actually basically buy parts of representations of US stocks non-custodially within Cake Wallet. And then something that you guys will absolutely love, I'm sure most of you saw already, is that we brought back the Monero Orange theme. And not just the orange one itself, but we created a new, very sleek black theme that has several different accents you can choose from, as well as a pure OLED dark mode. So you can toggle OLED mode on, and it'll make everything pure black. All right, moving on. Next up, we got a post from Monero Research Lab, unofficial. And it reads, the FCMP Alpha StressNet discussion highlighted ongoing issues with large blocks and connections, recent fixes in v1.2, bans causing isolation, and the need for better band management, logging, and performance goals. Many problems are pre-existing Monero D issues with calls for continued debugging and potential short-term improvements before reassessment. Requiem. There was a new StressNet release, version 1.2, with large blocks. Nodes are having problems staying connected. The release fixes a minor cause of connection problems, but many more remain. Many of the issues are long-standing Monero D issues, not specifically FCMP issues. And we saw most of them on last year's StressNet. And last year's StressNet just fixed the truly fatal issue, like irreparable net splits. Mayhem69 said, I'm not sure if it's an existing issue with Monero D or with the StressNet version, but these bans that are happening on StressNet are causing connectivity issue between peers. Just figured I would bring it up because it is annoying to have to unban and get connectivity, and not everyone running a node is doing so, and so much as such, I find my node gets isolated from the network quite often. Requiem replied, no, the bans aren't supposed to happen, but they do because the nodes think you are misbehaving when the network has heavy load. JPthor256 said, might be more serialization issues. We're looking into it. Better logging is a must going forward, IMO. Requiem, this isn't the final FCP StressNet, of course, but as the issues are being chipped away, it could be good to know when the sculpture is considered complete. Thank you all the community members who are running StressNet nodes. And Justin Berman said, on StressNet, taking stock and looking at the issues, there's a lot we can solve from short term, medium term to improve daemon balance before we hit a wall. I think we should continue to knock out these issues and reassess upon hitting wall. So this is just a little window into some of the dev discussions going on around the FCMP Alpha StressNet. So it looks like there's some problems coming up, which of course is why you run these things, and they're being worked on right now. Just a little show for progress being made. Very cool. Moving on. So we got a post from Tracy Thurman, and it reads, today the DOJ filed to dismiss the case against Roger Ver. His statement is below. And it reads, I am very grateful this case has been dismissed and appreciate the Trump administration's leadership and professionalism in working towards this final resolution. I am also grateful to everyone who supported me and sought justice in my case. This will be our only public statement in this case. We thank you all for your support. So it is really good to see that Roger Ver is able to, I guess, be free from the clutches of the IRS, even though he's not a U.S. citizen anymore. However, he never should have had to go through this in the first place. And I think he settled for like $50 million, which is insane. But this guy's been in Bitcoin for a long time.
Now the only one we need is Ian Freeman.
Mm-hmm. Very true. So yeah, it's like no matter where you go in the world, you can go far away, you can expatriate yourself, you can try to do everything right, and they will still come after you for stuff in the end anyway. So if you have a lot of money, they will come after you. So yeah, but good to see that he's able, I guess, to freely travel now without potentially getting apprehended. And here's a post from Jack Dorsey, which is funny that he still uses Twitter a lot. And it reads, @Signal app should use Bitcoin. And this is a quote tweet to a tweet from a Cashew, which reads, millions trust Signal, keep the conversations private. The same should be true for payments. Signal deserves a payment experience that's just as private and instant, powered by Bitcoin, the native currency of the internet, so we built it. So this is kind of interesting. Somebody went and created a fork of Signal, basically integrating Cashew. Well, Cashew is interesting, but it's not really that secure in the sense of, you're going to, like, your funds are fully non-custodial because someone's minting, they're creating mints for you to basically represent Bitcoin. And it's, from what I can see, it's reasonably private, but this is like, it's like, come on, guys. It's like, you know what the right answer is here.
The question is who's going to run the mint? Because if you have some rando running the mint that nobody trusts, the liquidity is going to be low. And if you have a big corporation running the mint, then they're going to get a money transmitter license. Do you think Signal's going to get a money transmitter license?
Exactly. It's the main question of who's going to run the mints.
I said on Nostr that they should use somebody should do it with that same thing, but with Monero.
Yeah, and I mean we've seen Molly, the Signal fork. They have a CCS that's been, like, I think mostly funded. But they haven't really made that much progress with integrating Monero into Molly, unfortunately. What I think should happen is they should do an integration with Cake Wallet, because Molly is Monero, or Molly is Android only fork of Signal. It doesn't work on the iPhone. And on Android, you can actually do IPC. You can do inter-process communication. And so Molly could actually build an integration that talks directly to Cake Wallet, which would be like probably the best way to do that, because instead of recreating an entire wallet in Molly, why not use the one that's already there that's constantly being worked on and staying up to date? So in my opinion, they should hit us up for an integration and skip all of this silliness of trying to add an entire Monero wallet. Because like, if we're being honest, Monero requires a lot. It requires a lot to use it. So why not just use what's already there, what people are already using, and build a nice tight integration? So that would be my suggestion. But yeah, the cashew thing, it's interesting. I'll probably check it out, but I don't think it's going to get that much use, and I have no reason to believe Signal is going to integrate that after the absolute failure that was their mobile coin pump scheme. So, which is sad because it could have been a really cool thing, but I don't even know how you get mobile coin anymore anyway. So moving on. So this is really cool. We've got a new update from XMRChat. And it reads, we've deployed notifications as a beta feature. Get an alert via email, Signal, or Simple X when you receive an XMR chat. Choose minimum tip amount to trigger an alert. Content creators, let us know if you'd like to try this out, and we'll enable it for your tip page. That is very, very cool. I would love to check that out once it's integrated. That is a cool new feature. XMRChat is getting quite feature rich. They've been adding a lot recently, so exciting to see. All right, moving on. Here is a post from Monero Legacy, and it's, I guess, an image from Reddit that says, I made a Monero texture pack for Minecraft. Now you can trade in XMR with villagers. I'm guessing they replaced the emerald with a Monero texture. That's silly. All right. Next up, we've got a post from Luke Parker, and it reads, after approximately 4 years of development, Thorchain has created the latest iteration of their proposal to integrate Monero. It includes rebuilding everything from scratch, deploying to a testnet, funding dev on a non-FOSS wallet. Okay, so that's the issue with their wallet, is that some people are claiming out not being non-FOSS. And moving on, it says not included any info on how it would work mainnet. So I guess their proposal is quite lacking in details. They're asking for a lot of money, and they're not, making a very good proposal. And Luke's kind of explaining this. It continues, given their prior integration attempts, both of the ones published had many critical bugs, and they haven't demonstrated they're working with anyone with Monero experience. I wouldn't trust this without a very thorough audit. Also, why even potentially ask the community to donate funds, presumably hundreds of thousands of dollars, to be used as liquidity? Why not have the community add it and own it? Interesting points, which leads me to the next post, which is from Untraceable, and this reads, update, Monero is coming to Thorchain, whether we like it or not. We like it. Work will commence on XMR integration with or without the support of the XMR community. If no financial support is tendered prior to integration, a second funding request will be made for launch liquidity instead. So that's good to know. That shows that they're at least serious, and that they have the full intention and they want to do it anyway. If this actually happens, or if it works reliably or works well, still have to see. But if they manage to do that, they will gain a lot of respect from the community, and they'll gain a lot of they'll win a lot of people using them to trade.
It's one of those things of they've hurt us. We've kind of been hurt by them before, so it's like, if you actually do the work and ask for a retroactive proposal to fund it, yeah, then that might be something.
Yeah, there's forgiveness to be had, but there's no reason people should be throwing money at this after what happened before. So, and then next up, we've got a post from, continuing on the Thorchain stuff, we had a post from JP himself, JPthor, and it reads, this is done. No more excuses. Time to get it. Please support and give feedback, which is a link to the actual proposal itself. Which is not in their favor at this very moment, and it's got 2 upvotes and 11 downvotes. So they will not be getting this funding for their initial work. However, However, like Shortwave is saying, retroactively, if they make this work and it's proven to be worked well, and we've got people that have audited it, then maybe there is some money to be had providing for the initial liquidity. So yeah, and with that being said, I think that's all the links I have here. So yeah, I think we'll be going ahead, and if Bawdy is ready, I think we can go ahead and move on to the price report. How's it going, Bawdy?
Hello. Yeah, I suppose I'm ready.
All right, sounds good. Let's do it.
The Monerotopia Price Report segment is sponsored by Exolix, a privacy-focused, non-custodial instant crypto exchange. Go to exolix.com to enjoy secure and completely anonymous swaps with no KYC or sign-up. Swap between Monero and 2,000 plus assets at the most competitive rates and with no limits. Exolix.com, your fast and secure way to privacy.
So what do you think, Bawdy? You think they're gonna make it happen?
Thorchain?
Thorchain, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sounds like they're willing to do it. I guess maybe now that it seems like a lot of the regulatory attack has passed, maybe they're more comfortable doing it. Or maybe they can just see the writing on the wall that everyone's using Monero these days, and like they're gonna look like a bunch of losers if they don't add it. I don't know. I'm glad to see that they're going to do it regardless of whether or not we fund them. I don't think we should fund them. I think that didn't we fund them once before?
If it happened, I don't know. I don't remember because that was I think before my time. But
I might just be
my time, so I'm not sure.
I'm probably hallucinating that. Maybe I'm just hallucinating that. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I thought the whole point of like, hey, we have a platform, we take fees. It's like, all right, if you're going to take fees and do a for-profit model and provide liquidity and do all this stuff, then it's like, that's the reason that you do that, not so that we can fund you for free so that you can then take our fees. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And of course, all the usual voices out there are like, well, Monero community is just negative, toxic people that won't fund Thorchain. Like, all right.
There's a lot more nuance to that.
Yeah. I've muted not all. I've kept a few of them alive, but I've muted most of the Zcash people by now. It's just, I can't. My feed is so much better too. Like I reported and blocked a shitload of bots, and then I started muting a bunch of people that I'm just like, yeah, these guys aren't good actors. And I left a few key people unmuted. So I still occasionally see some, but my feed is so much better after doing that. Hey, how's my volume? Is it?
Oh, it sounds good. Yep.
Okay, it's not low.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, I
good.
cranked it up a little bit.
Okay.
There we go. Yep. Yeah, crazy. Been a more of a chill week, I'm guessing, right?
Oh, and price?
Yep.
Yeah, things. The stock market bounced back reasonably well, but Bitcoin and crypto and Monero is fine. Monero bounced back just fine.
Yeah, Monero, pretty quick recovery, I will say.
Yeah, even Zcash actually kind of, I wouldn't say it bounced back. It does seem like it's been on a little bit of a downtrend this week, but that's only been this week. Like it's actually at break even from when that crash.
Come on, Zcash, you can do it. You can flip Monero by, what is it, December 31st? It's the poly market.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone's taking that bet. It seems like some people were. Monero isn't quite
absolutely no way would I take that bet.
Not in Monero's favor, or not in any direction.
No, like I would absolutely bet on Monero if I was going to take that bet, but I would not.
Yeah, I feel like I still think we're in a bull market, despite things being a little bit feeling dicey right now. So there's like, as long as that's going to continue, I would still worry about the potential for Zcash to just fake pump. Like they threw money at Cubic. They were willing to spend money to attack the chain. Maybe they're willing to spend money on Zcash, trying to pump that price up. I hope for your bags Tux, that you can get back to your 300 level, whatever. I hope for sanity's sake that doesn't happen. Sorry, bro.
No, I if it doesn't, so be it. But for a split second there, it was just about at 1-to-1. It was very, very close.
Is it flippening?
But it didn't quite happen. Maybe it did on another exchange, but looking at the aggregate prices, it didn't ever happen.
All right. Well, I guess Doug's out today, or what?
Yeah, Doug had to leave, but he's sitting in the background. I think he's listening.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I guess might as well go ahead and get into it. So we've got the Monero price chart here in front of us, and let me adjust my. There we go. Yeah, the Monero price is in front of us here, and things are looking pretty good. Like, things look fine. Nothing. Like, honestly, there was this big crash that happened, 8 days ago, but realistically, you wouldn't look at this chart and even be able to point it out hardly. Like, maybe right here you would say. But yeah, Monero was pretty resilient through the whole thing. So I guess, I guess the direction would tend to be up as long as we don't get some other big crash out from the market again or whatever. Depends on what Trump wants to do. Depends on if America wants the Civil War or not. I don't know. But yeah, sitting here at 315, fine by me. And we're probably doing pretty good relative to the Bitcoin. Relative to Bitcoin's price, we're doing pretty well. The right inverse shoulder seems to continue to be playing out. I wouldn't gamble on this thing necessarily going crazy higher. I would probably hope, if I was like looking to flip back into BTC, I would probably be looking for somewhere in this range to make that trade. And again, you see this guy right here, how it poked up above the orange lines, the lower standard deviation bands. That's kind of a signal of strength right there. So if this thing ends up, kind of like peaking out here, I would actually, especially if it does a little bit of consolidation, maybe comes up, or maybe if it does like kind of one of these things, like gets back to the second peak, that'll be a pretty good sign that Monero is ready to start going towards the upside significantly. The next spot that you would be looking at, like as a headliner spot, would actually be to get back to where things broke down from the whole Binance delisting a couple years ago. So that would be interesting if we could get back there. I would have a hard time believing we could get back there without the end of the bull market, right? So as soon as all the bullshit tether liquidity and all of the new,
that would be why it didn't dip as hard as some of the others, is the fact that it wasn't on Binance.
Yeah, that could be. It could be. I mean, they also had all the exchanges had already shut down their withdrawals. Not all of them, but most of them. Like, I don't know if Mexi is back online or if the other exchanges are back online, but I think it's pretty safe to say that even if they are open for withdrawals, it's probably spotty, and they probably barely can maintain that. So the thing is, like, there just wasn't that much liquidity on Monero to sell down, right? Because these liquidities they all trade against each other. They're all kind of bonded together. They're all sloshing around in the same crypto exchange system. They're all owned by the same people, right? So whether they're proof of work, proof of stake, whatever, these coins are all printed from nothing, and by and large, they're owned by the same fucking people. And it's a big club, and you ain't in it. I don't know. Maybe you are, Tux. Maybe you have something you want to confess here live on the air. I don't know. No, I'm just
Well, a lot of these coins that like you saw Litecoin dropped like 50%, and they're being like leveraged heavily. And so less places you can do that. I guess the better it will be for preventing something like that from happening.
Wait, say that last part one more time. I'm sorry.
I guess the less places you have that can leverage in insane amounts, the less likelihood you'll have like an intense drop when things like this happen, when you have these cascading effects of positions getting forced closed.
Yep. That's also a pretty big factor there as well. You just can't leverage trade Monero, maybe on Kraken, I guess. So yeah, you don't get these cascading.
Yeah, barely. Like if you have like the ridiculously high requirements, then you can. But even then, it's not super high compared to other coins.
Yep. Yeah, so it's not too surprising that Monero would survive quite well. It was kind of funny that Zcash survived the crash. Their crash, like that candle for them ended green on the day of the crash, Friday. That candle they took a dip and then they came right back up, and it was crazy to watch.
Aggressive as hell, but the wick went all the way down to 140.
Yeah, they lost almost 50% of their price, like because they were up. I think they were up here, and then they crashed down. So they lost almost 50% of their price, and then got most of it back by the end of the day. So I feel like they had to spend some money to do that. But yeah, one of the good things about not being on a lot of exchanges for Monero is that our price does resemble something a little bit more, I don't know, even less volatility. And I believe, definitely more organic. It's our price is like organic, but it's kind of inorganic in the sense that it's fractional reserved in a lot of places and suppressed and a whole bunch of bullshit. So, but anyways, looking at the big chart here, XMR BTC, honestly, guys, is not a great chart. But there is the potential that this thing could go to the upside. Again, I still have a hard time seeing how we could get really big gains unless something fundamental changes about the market, as in like the bull market is about to be over or something. And I guess it's October. This is like the least impressive October that we've seen from cryptocurrency like ever.
I think people were expecting it too much to be good, and they're like, nope.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I'm not gonna give it to you.
That's a problem. Like when everyone expects the market is they're going to get their new bull market, everyone is like 4-year cycle and all this shit, and they're waiting to get everything to come back. And it's like, dude, these altcoins can barely even get back to their all-time highs. Like some of them still haven't.
I listened to a show called Simply Bitcoin, and they are very much Pumptober and it's going to the moon and those kinds of people or whatever. And it's like, okay, this is what the normies are saying.
Yeah, not a good sign. And even like Bitcoin here it looks like this looks like the beginning of breakdown. I wouldn't trust it. It's probably they had their liquidity crunch or whatever, right? They wiped out a lot of the longs. A lot of people probably got long after that. Like a lot of people probably saw that and said, "Oh, hey, they just wiped out all the longs. Why don't it can't get any worse than this. Let me go long again, right? Let me double or nothing on that liquidation that I just had."
It works for so long until it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's I can't tell you how many stories I've heard of people like, oh well, if you're down, well then you buy more at slightly higher leverage, and then and then you just buy all the way down. It's like, yeah, until you have nothing left to buy. Until the bull market's over, and then you get wrecked because you think it's still on. So yeah, I mean, it's weird, Bitcoin. It's not that it's down a lot. It's only down like 18%. But let's take a look at the stock market. You see, the stock market has already basically recovered, right? Like, okay, you had the big crash on Friday. It's about halfway back to where it was down. So it's down 1.3% from its all-time highs. It had dropped by 4%. Right, so like that's the Nasdaq. Nasdaq looks fine. That just looks like a little bit of a whoopsie daisy, and it's marching higher now. Bitcoin doesn't look like that, right? Bitcoin looks like it still looks like it sucks, right? It's like it's still having problems. And then the dominance. So there was a big spike on the dominance, and then it came back down. But dominance is still like kind of edging higher if you just kind of take that whole thing as a wick right there. So, I mean, I still do think the more likely scenario is that the bull market is on, but guys, it wouldn't surprise me if they need to push more pain. Like it's very probable that a whole bunch of people got long here, and they might want to try and double wick down to the bottom and fucking wipe people out. That could happen. That's for those of you that haven't been here for a decade, you haven't, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Like the kinds of fraud and stuff like that's going on, like honestly guys, it's crazy. This is more than just like market makers being like, hey, let's wick the market down. Like there's a whole nefarious labyrinth of bullshit going on, but okay, whatever. XMR, you can see here on the Z-scores doing better than everyone else for the most part, except for BNB, I guess, now that CZ's out of prison. I mean, he's been out of prison, but I guess Binance Coin, now the United States government owns it or something or whatever. I don't know. I'm just making up shit. So Binance Coin seems to be doing pretty well. Monero overall doing relatively well to the rest of the trash. All of these coins down here, all of you trash, except for XMR. Just kidding. Not all of you. Some of you are some of you are neutral purgatory kind of coins. All right. Let's see. Anything else here in crypto interesting? I guess we look at the privacy coins. Yeah, we looked at Zcash already. Off its highs by about 34%. I mean, I wouldn't count it down or out. The fact that, so when we talk about wave magic and stuff, like, you would look at this coin and you would see, okay, this is like a long-term downtrend. We could draw we could draw a line down here at the bottom. I'm not going to draw up a fucking pleb line down there, but obviously you could draw it. Maybe the top would be a place to draw a pleb line. Let's try and do something like that. Okay. And then, okay, so it just magically beats that pleb line immediately from out of nowhere. It's like, when price doesn't respect a resistance level on the way up, you kind of expect that it won't respect that level on the way down. So the only way for Zcash to actually like truly be making a massive comeback is this thing has to really, really keep on pumping. Like, it's really got to keep going. And it's difficult for me to think that after this bull market is over, that they're going to be that interested in like spending that much money to keep it pumped. Maybe they would, who knows, right? Maybe Monero truly is growing at a level that they feel like they have to spend the money to do that, to try and compete. But, we're going to get full chain membership proofs, and Zcash does not have a good reputation. Like, there's a few fucking losers out there that want to pretend like Zcash is amazing and Monero is shit and our community is terrible. But like, we all know the real score here. So, yeah, I don't know, guys. I do think this isn't necessarily over, but looking at this chart in a macro sense, it's like, goddamn, like, this is not, that doesn't look very organic. That looks crazy to see that the chart even did that at all.
Well, what's sad is that it's basically just like repeating history. Like, if it goes along, like, as we're looking at the chart historically, there's going to be a lot of people that are getting in now that are seeing the hype. And if this thing fully round trips, then it's just going to be like, a lot of people are just going to get wrecked for no reason.
Yeah.
For no good reason.
And if that happens, you couldn't make a better advertisement for Monero than if people get wrecked by, I mean, this looks like a 90% loss. Like, if it fully round trips, that's 90% loss. And the way that like Zcash is centrally held, I mean, it's going to be hard for them to actually, like, you're not going to convince the Bitcoiners into Zcash. You're not going to convince the Ethereum or Solana people into Zcash. They've already got Tornado Cash. Like, if optional Starks are great, then why the fuck is anyone going to leave Ethereum for Zcash, right? Like, no one in the Ethereum ecosystem is going to leave for Zcash, and no one in the Bitcoin ecosystem is going to leave for Zcash. So anyone that's like betting long privacy, that gets wrecked 90% and doesn't see their bags come back, their next stop is going to be Monero. So in a way, like, this could actually end up being a big advertisement for Monero in the long run.
Now, realistically, from an investment standpoint, though, like, buying Zcash around like $20-$40, probably not bad, because like, realistically, it's going to somewhat be tethered to people's interest in privacy. So if Monero is going up, Zcash will follow, probably to a degree. But even then, like, just looking at how it's been, the interest has been around it and how it seems like it goes through these cycles of pump and dumps. That's just very scammy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I actually, if you said, hey, Bawdy, what's going to be the solid 10x play this bull market? Zcash would not have been on the top of my list, but I would have been wrong. Fuck, all you had to do was buy it like in April. If you'd have bought in April, hell, if you could have even bought in August. God, you could have bought in August and you would have had yourself an 8x, 8.5x. That's crazy. I would not have expected that. But
that is crazy. I did buy, I maybe bought some Zcash at $20. I don't know. I can't confirm that.
Wow, that's crazy. All right.
But soon it will be getting converted to XMR, allegedly. I
mean, even if you bought, like, let's just say $1,000 at $20, I mean, that's a 14x. So it's a nice little bit of profit, man. I'm not saying I don't know how much you bought, but even small amounts, when you start looking at anything beyond 10x, 20x, even small amounts starts to become a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I hit Hex for a pretty fucking insane amount. I was like, I don't know, fucking I had like cash on Ethereum, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do with this. I guess Hex right before the bull market, I was like, yeah, Richard has a good fucking narrative, and I don't know. This is sitting here, and I think I was in some like prediction markets coin. I can't remember what it's called now. I don't think anyone uses it anymore. It was one of the early like prototypes. But so I threw some cash in there and forgot about it, and then like it did like insane amounts, like 500x. I was like, holy shit, I actually have real money in Hex now. So yeah, and then people were like angry, I guess, because I had Hex gains. Whatever. All right, let's look at Cubic. What the fuck is Cubic doing? They're hanging out, they're chilling. Doesn't look like they necessarily. We've seen them do some selfish mining. They haven't done a whole lot of reorgs. Seems to me that they probably maybe they aren't quite at the price that's at a big enough level to get them the kind of hash power that they need to be doing successful like long chain or mid chain reorg attacks, whatever. Let's check the comments, make sure that I'm not missing anything here. We got Toxic Hodler, the Zcash pump. We probably already got that one, I assume. I was a little bit late to getting on the show.
Oh, which one?
On the XMRchat, we have. I'll just give him another Toxic Hodler. Yeah, so he says he tips 0.002 XMR, and he says the Zcash pump will be considered as an identical inflection point in Monero's history. Masters are waking up to the importance of financial privacy. All paths lead to Monero.eco. Monero.eco. All right. I don't know if that's there. Maybe that's a website.
Oh yeah, Monero.eco. It's like a cool ecosystem website. I think Schmidt made that shows a bunch of
yeah. It's got like this connections. So like each service or whatever has its own little like emblem or whatever, and then it's got like a spider web of connections. So you'll like see Cake Wallet and then exchange with Trocador and whatever, and you'll like different things and hardware wallets and stuff like that.
Yeah, sorry I didn't see your super chat, Toxic Hodler. It is not on my comments list whatsoever. I'm not sure what happened there, but I'll just look. I'll keep an eye on the separate XMRchat page.
Let me let's check then. Did we get the Nicholas Van Saberhagen and UTXO?
Released today as well? Wow, I don't have any.
I don't know.
Are you looking on the comment section, or are you just looking at the XMRchat page?
I'm just looking at the XMRchat.com/Monero
Oh, I think these were last week.
Oh, all right. Well, Toxic Hodler gets a second one. Let's see here. YouTube. Someone asked when alt season. I don't know, bro. At this point, we can't be sure about anything. We kind of are already in alt season. Like, there, Bitcoin
Very
made this
sad alt season.
It is. I mean, it's a sad bull market, guys. Like, I was hoping for more, and I think there's a good chance that we're gonna get more, but muted. Like, this is a $4 trillion ship, right? A $4 trillion battleship doesn't steer quickly.
The bull's getting tired.
Yeah, that's a fat bull. He's, for all we know, he's ready to be slaughtered, right? Like, here's the total market cap. This thing still looks bullish, right? Like, you wouldn't look at this chart and say this is a bearish chart. But you'll also notice, like, we've talked about this a lot before. How has this bull market commenced overall? It has been the kind of bull market that you get these like big random movements to the upside, and then you get these long, kind of drawn out, sort of flat down, kind of bull flags, right? And then you got this guy, and like again, you had this kind of flag pattern again, and then it's looking weaker and weaker with every single bounce. We're gonna have to wait and see, but I would maybe even say that the next bounce is like time to bounce, right? The next time that we get a big move up, that's probably about the time to be getting the fuck out of this market. I don't know. I mean, I guess
you're listening to say this right now, and they're gonna push it up even higher just as you get out.
Probably, right? Like, I'll sell, and then they'll pump Zcash another like 20x or something. Let's see here. Just drawing some pleb lines, just playing around here with the total market cap. Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting pleb line right there for sure. I wouldn't be like, guys, at this point, don't be surprised if this fucking chart just like does some of this, just more sideways. Maybe it'll take until next year. It'll pump again. So there's two things to say about this. It's kind of a sad bull market, and it's a very sad alt season, but it's possible that the 4-year cycle is no more, right? We are probably watching the dissolution of the 4-year cycle at like right before our eyes. And so what it means is that we could actually have an extended bull market. It's possible that Bitcoin and crypto could continue making steady, slow gains on into next year, depending on whenever the next macro crash is. And I'm not really convinced about when that might be. Oil is saying it's right now, but I don't know if I should believe the oil signal right now. We'll get into that in a second. But if the 4-year cycle is basically over, and it probably is, and I was saying a few years ago, like, hey, enjoy it. This is probably, we'll get one more, right? We're going to get one more 4-year cycle, and then that'll be the end of it. The halving won't matter anymore. And so, and plus everyone knows about it, right? So like when everyone knows about something, the market has a way of adjusting. There's a term here that I'm looking for, whatever, it doesn't matter. But the market ends up like that signal disappears. When a signal starts to get known, it gets leveraged and it gets exploited. So anyways, although sometimes some signals that everyone knows about, if the cabal wants that to also continue being the case for their own bags, well, then they'll let that continue being the case. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, just don't expect this thing to really, like, don't expect much, guys. Like, get used to disappointment, in the words of Inigo Montoya. No, in the words of, did he have a name? The Dread Pirate Robert, in the words of Dread Pirate Roberts. All right, anyways. So oil right here, we're looking at oil, and I know that I've said previously, like, I was like, hey, oil's our alpha. Look, we're dropping out of trend. Expect the macro crash, and boom, here it is in April. And I said, and I've been saying, hey, watch for oil, watch oil. And now it's definitely fucking dead. And I'm sitting here like going back on my words. And part of that is because I'm sitting here having to also say, yeah, but I didn't expect gold to just smash to 4,000 and beyond. So obviously, like, there's something different about the macro going on. It gives me pause to say, hey, just because oil is down here in the doldrums, the rest of the markets look fine. I know you shouldn't go by your fucking testicle analysis, by your feels, but my intuition is telling me, like, the bull market's not over. Like, at least especially for stocks like crypto, or maybe not quite as much crypto, but stocks look fine. Like, this thing just looks like it wants to keep going up. And okay, maybe it's not going to, I don't know. I do think that it just looks fine. Like, that looks fine. The bonds look fine. In terms of, I thought I preloaded that chart, whatever. But yeah, the bonds have not done anything crazy, right? Like, I mean, they're kind of like moving towards the downside. And sure, this is definitely within the pattern that we've seen when we talk about, the Fed lowering rates, and eventually things are going to, but eventually, not yet. Like, nothing in the bond market looks like things are about to crash out immediately. So to me, it's weird that oil is down here. Maybe people are still worried about, tariffs and shipping and all that shit, but gold is still pumping, and that's probably just a sign of, this is probably still backlash from the inflation. Like, they probably held this off for as long as they could, but all the inflation that happened, like, it's still here and it's still continuing to inflate. Maybe it's not as bad as it was, but there's probably a lot of inflation that gold had to reflect before it could actually be valued reasonably. Thus far, gold is like basically outperformed everything. It's outperformed the S&P 500. It's at least keeping par with the NASDAQ. And it's it's like largely, it's at least par with crypto. In a lot of cases, it's outperforming crypto.
We got a super chat here that thanks for mentioning this. I need to bring this up. So XMR tipped 3 cents. Bawdy, did you catch that account? Peter Brandt saying everything needs to be charted against gold. Monero gold is just crazy. Let me actually bring that up if I can, because that was interesting to see.
Yeah, I did see that tweet. And I mean, you want to do that in general. You want to look at assets versus other assets. Monero gold chart is interesting. It's basically in this volatility consolidation. So it's interesting, especially because gold has been quite bullish, and Monero basically maintains parity, right? Monero is maintaining parity with gold over really like a multi-year time frame. Like, you can go all the way back to here, back in 2021, 2022, and see that in general, right, Monero and gold are maintaining pretty close.
So Monero is unironically the real digital gold.
Yeah, I mean, basically. I mean, we're looking at maybe a 30% band here, but I mean, it's, in terms of the kinds of volatility that we've seen, like that's pretty good. I guess, I mean, Bitcoin has a reasonably good chart versus gold. If I could pull it up. Let's go look at crypto versus stocks. So you have BTC versus gold here on the right. Let's delete that. And I thought, there we go. Yeah, so we're looking at a long-term chart. This is a 2-day chart. So going back to the bottom of the bear market, right? I mean, Bitcoin has outperformed gold if you go all the way back to 2023, but really since about the beginning of 2024, gold and Bitcoin have been like fairly reasonably equal priced, actually very similar error bands. So like about 30% up, 30% down. Right now, I mean, this chart looks bullish for gold, right? This doesn't look like the strongest chart in terms of Bitcoin. Yeah, this isn't. I can't call this like a strong chart. I can't even say that that Bitcoin is necessarily about to go to new all-time highs versus gold. I think I saw someone they felt like this was bullish, but this chart doesn't scream bullish to me. I think probably ultimately it's going higher, but it doesn't have to be immediately. Like it's totally possible. Like I know it would be a crazy thing to happen, but it's totally possible to still make this lower standard deviation band at some point, right? For the bull market to maybe gold just keeps fucking pumping like crazy, goes to like 10,000 or something like so that we didn't even think possible, right? In which case, like this chart could potentially revisit down here to these lows and then, you know, come back up. So yeah, I mean, just a reminder, let's go to the gold chart where I pulled it up somewhere. Did I? I swear that I pulled it up. There it is. No. Finally. All right. Let's touch on silver really quick. So this is gold versus silver, which means that as this chart goes down, silver is going up. So it's not terribly impressive, but I mean, 22% is 22%, right? So you're still doing. If you've been in silver for the past couple months, few months, you're doing significantly, well, reasonably better than gold. So silver chart here. Silver chart doesn't give a fuck about my TA. It says that it didn't care about the previous all-time high. That kind of makes sense. Silver probably should have been at the all-time high a lot sooner than this. It was very delayed in terms of its performance. Nevertheless, like this is kind of getting away from itself. It's just getting ahead of itself. I honestly think it would be good for both silver and gold to take like just make a small bear flag right here at this spot over the next, I don't know, few months, just the tiniest little bear flag, and then come back towards the upside. I don't know. Maybe it could just keep on going. It doesn't give a shit about my TA. There could be fundamental reasons, right? There could be fundamental things happening. Here's gold versus the S&P 500. Again, you can see it on a long-term basis, right? Obviously, we are nowhere near where we used to be, back in back in this zone here. It's reasonably possible that this chart could be coming towards this area. It would be difficult. I mean, obviously we're kind of already in that area, but these guys, the blue bands, it's difficult to think that gold is really just going to do this guy. Like, I can't believe that. So I don't know, guys. I don't have too many opinions here on like where things go next for gold. I don't know where it's going. Maybe it go higher. Maybe this is the top for all I know. The macro, it looks fine except for oil. I don't know why the fuck oil is sitting here at $57. It hasn't recovered.
It's hanging on for dear life.
I guess, man. Like, it's so weird because nothing else says that it's time for the crash. Maybe they're fucking with people. Like maybe people caught on to that little alpha, like to the fact that oil dropped out of trend before the macro crash happened. Maybe they're trying to fake people out.
Switch up the fundamentals a little bit.
It's possible. I mean, if my ass figured it out, right? I figured out this one just ahead of time. So then probably everyone finally figured it out after the last macro crash. And then so now enough people know that signal to exploit that signal against the people that know. That's the only thing I could like. I'm desperately reaching for an explanation here. I don't fucking know. But everything else looks fine. Like the bonds look fine. The oil is out of trend. Oil looks like shit, but everything else, like the reverse repos are fine. The dollar index is fine. The dollar index isn't spiking like crazy. People are not like fleeing to the safety of cash. The liquidity, the global liquidity, the US liquidity continues to go higher. Jesus, it's off the chart. Yeah, it continues moving towards the upside. I mean, I don't know, guys. And they haven't reported the fucking unemployment numbers. Like,
Sus.
yeah, like I guess because the government shut down and the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, the BLS.
Really good excuse for them not to have to do it.
Yeah, they only kept the parts of the government that can invade people's homes to look for, I guess, illegals. Yeah, so the last numbers we have are from August. We should have already had the September numbers. We don't have it, so I don't know. What else can we find anything else, guys? The inflation looks fine. The inflation hasn't ticked up. M2 keeps rising. This doesn't look like a chart that's about to roll over. I don't see JPow hasn't said anything that makes it look like it's going to not continue going higher. So it's nothing there. I'm out, guys. I can't find anything that looks bad, just oil. So I don't know what the fuck's going on with oil, but macro crystal ball says everything's fine. Don't get leveraged long here on Bitcoin or crypto. If you got bags, just, hang on to them. You're in the long game. You're not going to get your 10,000x. You're going to have to trade if you want that. Or you're not going to get your 10,000%. You're going to have to trade if you want that. And like 99 out of 100 of you are going to get wiped out trying to get your 100x by trading. So don't do it.
Like yours
you got. Say what?
Like yours truly.
You got wiped out?
Oh, dude, I got wiped out on Friday, the last Friday, dude. That kind of fucked me. I'm not gonna lie.
Sorry, bro.
I kind of deserve it.
I mean, that's the thing, man. This wave magic stuff, like I can identify the trends and I can tell you generally what's happening with the markets, right? We can look at the macro, we can understand what's going on. I can't tell you when some fucking 50% crash off is gonna wipe out everyone's liquidity. Like, I don't have a crystal ball that can see that ahead of time. I don't have the mechanism for detecting that. So
no, and then I see examples of people who had stop losses as well and just got ripped right through. And these exchanges, because of what happened, because the platform's going down, they're actually paying people off. Like, hey, oh shit, people lost money. It's kind of our fault. So they're actually, some people are getting paid off to, I guess, not, suddenly switch to some other platform or whatever.
They paid them off in fucking fun bucks, man.
Yeah, I saw someone got 100K in fucking test funds. Like, oh hey, you can pretend to trade on our platform, have fun.
Yeah, that's like if somebody smashes into your car and then they like, don't worry, we're gonna replace your car, and they give you one of those little like toy trucks, with the little fake steering wheel.
Monopoly money, sorry.
It's like it was like Tether, but it was even faker than regular Tether.
Here's an interesting statistic. On October 14th, 2024, my eggnog was 25.1 Monero. On October 14th, 2025, it was 15.39 Monero. That's down 38.7%.
Wow.
In a year.
With Monero, you get more.
Eggnog and Monero futures bearish.
Dude, I gotta say though, all those other shit coins, they're like got so wiped out. My only position that survived was my Bitcoin position. Barely.
Yeah. Trading's fucking, yeah. And I think I said this last week, but because of shit like that, you can't trust stop loss, especially not in crypto. You have to make your stop loss your liquidation point. Like,
that's really such good advice. Like for the super high leverage trading, honestly, that's like that's the only way you should do it.
Yeah. Shit, man, I want to get back into trading. Honestly, the thing is, I'm trying to. I kind of got sidetracked with the Monero simulator thing, but I was busy trying to code up an actual algorithmic like detection system for the wave magic stuff, because that way, like, there's just too many charts to look at. There's too many time frames. A human can't do it, and these charts are slow as fuck. Like, I can't look at all the charts I need to on a reasonable timeline. And I don't even have all the history that I need to actually see the levels that I need to see on these charts here on TradingView. They don't give you enough resources to do that. I've begged them so many times to please give me more resources and unlock stuff, and they just won't do it. So I have to pull the data myself, like in some kind of professional context, and I have to code up. I guess I'm using Python, unfortunately. I don't know why I hate Python so much, but I don't really hate it. It's just, anyway, so because they've got the math libs that I need, and they've got all the CUDA stuff that I need. So Anyways, I'm trying to code all that up so I can actually like use this shit in an algorithmic sense to trade. If that happens, it'll be the end of the price report. I'll be like, sorry, I'm out. Gonna go live in, I don't know, my McMansion or something. No, I'm just kidding. I'll be around. Banging that drink. It's not booze, Jack. I'm sorry, bro. It's just coffee, you know. I can't even claim to have been cool out drinking last night or still drinking at the moment. Maybe next week. Maybe tonight. Who knows? All right. I guess I don't see anything else here important that we need to cover. We could take a look at the hash rate, steady. We could take a look at the transaction counts. Why does this? It's this every single time. Like maybe it's just my browser doesn't want to keep up, doesn't want to maintain. All right. I wish there was a save button here. Anyways, yeah, transaction count, big surprise, steady, 25,000. It's been that way since forever. Yeah, guys, unless there's something that someone else wanted to see. Someone asked me, what's the repo Bawdy? Just get on GitHub, look up Bawdy Anarchist. You'll see all my repos. But the Wave Magic doesn't have a repo. That's mine. Sorry. Like, this is too valuable to just give away for free. I'm sorry, guys. I can show it to you here, on the price report. But even that I shouldn't have done because any very astute genius, half genius people out there, half slightly above midwit could recreate what I did. It's not that hard. I've told you everything you need to know about what this is. But yeah, if you want to see the stuff that I've done, which isn't much, go to my GitHub repo. So yeah, that's it, guys. I don't think I have anything else, unless there's something else y'all want to see.
All right. Yeah, I think we could move on into the viewers on stage for a little bit, because the stream has already been pretty short. So we'll do that. And we'll probably end it off not too long here, just because everyone's doing stuff this week. So yeah, and of course you too, feel free to stick around if you would like to.
Sure.
The Monerotopia Viewers on Stage segment is sponsored by XMR Bar. Play dice with Monero using your privacy-respecting and provably fair algorithm. Go to XMR.bar. As always, verify and never trust.
Please gamble responsibly in accordance with the laws of your jurisdiction.
All right. Time for our toxic Monero community meeting.
That's right. Let's brainstorm ways to be more toxic.
It's just me. Everyone just complains about me. I'm the toxic Monero person. I make fun of Zuko, so.
You don't use enough fuck words, bro. You gotta levy more curses. I mean, Zuko blocked all of us. Like, he blocked you. You're not even toxic. Like, you're.
I mean, I troll. I'm an asshole sometimes. But like, a good example is he blocked Vic. Vic's like the most like neutral, like curious person. And last week, he had basically put up a post. It had this. It was a post on X that had a Reddit link in it, basically saying a bunch of stuff about Zcash. Those probably came from AI about the trusted setup, blah, blah, blah. And it probably, a lot of it wasn't true. But the responses that Vic was getting himself were like totally unhinged and a lot of it was very unreasonable. And they were accusing him of trying to like stir the pot or like, you know, this isn't true. And like, this is just ridiculous because Vic is he's a pretty neutral person, and he likes looking at a lot of these projects, and he himself wants to add Zcash to Cake Wallet. But he's not very happy at the how the community's been treating him because it's totally unreasonable. So
it's extremely unreasonable because Vic actually posts good things. He never posts negativity about Zcash. The closest thing he ever got to negativity was that one AI post, or it wasn't an AI, like he didn't use AI, but like, yeah, just asking the question like, hey, I thought it was this way, but someone is saying it's actually not the case now, and can y'all please just clear this up? That wasn't even negativity. It was just an open question for Zcash to come in. It was like an alley-oop, like, here's the ball, have a dunk, and it's like they just came in and like it was insanely toxic. But Vic has posted other things like, I like Zcash. I'm bullish on Zcash. I bought Zcash. He's posted, I just bought more Zcash like at least 3 or 4 times. And no one in Monero goes over there and like shouts him down or is angry or tells him that he's a fraud or nothing like that. So it's like a very clear counterpoint to their like, you just hate Zcash and anyone says something positive and you're just going to go and attack them. And it's like, no, like Vic is proof. Vic is proof of the opposite of that.
It's super ridiculous. And it's like, I don't care about like the fact that, oh, you've got people toxic. I don't give a shit. What really pisses me off is this absolute fucking hypocrisy. This moral grandstanding and self-righteousness about, oh, the Monero community is so bad, it's so toxic. Dude, your shit fucking stinks also, my dude. It's like it stinks as much, if not worse. So
yeah, they're trying to
hear it. I don't want to fucking hear it ever again.
They're trying to foster it. They want the Monero community to become the toxicity that they're saying that we are. It's like most of it is like it was weird because we didn't even like talk that much about Zcash for so long, and for the last year or two, I would see a couple of these personalities. Like we would have conversations of a technical nature and be like, well, yeah, I mean, we would even compliment and say, hey, I've actually come around on the Zcash encryption or cryptography, right? Like it looks like maybe it's okay. Like maybe like a lot of people are using it. A lot more time has passed. People have reviewed it, and okay, like I don't want to necessarily say it has to be horrible just because Israel did it or Amazon or whatever, the U.S. Air Force Research Lab. But then they would come back and be like, there's the Monero community is so toxic. What are you talking about, bro? Like, we're just asking about the implementation. Is the coin good? And you're sitting here saying that I'm an asshole. Like,
well, like I myself, I was interested in Zcash like a year ago. And so I was, looking into it a little bit, and that's when I bought some. And it looks like their community is, they really ostracize a lot of people. Like they act like they're there's this great wholesome Chungus community, yet they really ostracize a lot of people. And like, I know Zuko doesn't represent the entire Zcash community, but he is effectively, and has been for a long time, like the main spokesperson and the head of Zcash. And he himself has really ostracized a lot of people from the Zcash community. So on that standpoint, they kind of like lost me already. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll look into it a little bit, but I'm not that interested in terms of participating in their community or, really integrating. And then it's like, yeah, a lot of people are jumping on Zcash recently, which I'm sure they're not happy about because the price exploded. But a lot of us are like we're like, this is not like real. This is fake. And the attention that it's getting is forced, and it's scammy, and it's undeserved. And a lot of people see it as like Monero is just attacking Zcash because it's like a threat. But it's like, well, no, it's like Monero has been attacked relentlessly over this past year and previous years, and suddenly all this undeserved attention is getting shoved on the Zcash because they're trying to do this forced pump that is probably going to wreck a lot of people. So that's why there's a lot of Monero people jumping on Zcash suddenly, and it's not because it's like a threat technologically. Like I think Zcash has some interesting parts about it, but it is because of this reality that exists. It's that it's corporate, and they have a lot of people that want to get paid, and they have VC funding and a lot of weird connections, and there's just so much like garbage that's attached to it.
Yeah, I could overlook a lot of the stuff. Like, no project is perfect. Let's take Monero. Monero's emission curve at the beginning, it was very steep. Like, I don't think that was a great idea. I think that was a poor design, and I think that kind of probably did enrich a lot of the early guys a little bit more than was truly necessary. So I don't like the emission curve. And there was a little bit of weirdness where a slightly less efficient, maybe not slightly, but a less efficient mining algorithm was released, while like one dude, I think it was only for a few weeks, was accumulating coins. But it's not like, it wasn't like an ASIC where he had like a 10x advantage over everybody or a 1000x advantage mining or anything like that. And it wasn't like we had this insta-mine like a lot of coins had, or especially not a pre-mine. But a lot of these proof of work coins like Dash, for example, had this insta-mine where they just like inflated the supply massively. Like they mined like 25% of the coins within a week. Like 25% of the coins that exist today now. Yeah. It was like it's either 25 or 50% of the total supply was mined, like literally within a week because of a quote unquote error with the mining algo. And they could have relaunched the coin fairly, right? Like when there was a problem with Monero, the Monero community, the true OGs in Monero, they relaunched the coin. They said, no, we're not going to accept this Monero bullshit. We're going to relaunch the coin. And that's the right thing to do. And then there's other coins too. Pirate comes out on Pirate Chain comes out on fucking bitcointalk.org and says, hey, our matey, come play with our Pirate Chain, right? And then mysteriously, like a few days later, and they called it a testnet. Say, come play with our testnet. And then a few days later, it somehow magically converted into a mainnet, and then a huge portion of the supply was mined again because of some quote unquote error. Like these are nonsense. Like those are, I wouldn't even call them shenanigans. I would call them, I would call it borderline fraud, but it's not really fraud. It's just dishonest. And so it's
Do you really want to trust some crypto with an error like that at the start? Let's say it is an error, right? Let's say all these coins had an error. Do you really want to trust them at that point? Do you really want to have your money and transact in that? If that's it, especially anything privacy related.
Go ahead, man. Keep going.
Oh, I'm just saying.
That's all I was saying.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's so many of this. It's just, and Zcash has this in spades, right? Like every stone we turn over to examine a bit deeper on the Zcash implementation and who's behind it, and it's like how it originated, and it's like everything we look at, it's like, God damn, why does everything about this coin have to have some stupid problem? Like Monero's not perfect. We have a couple of these issues in our own history, but it's a couple issues, like, and everything else seems to be pretty good. Like it's hard to look at Monero and like really dig deep and say, hey, there's a major problem. Like we had a potential inflation and bug early on in bulletproofs. It was verified not to have been exploited. Okay, great. Zcash had an inflation bug. They couldn't verify that it has not been exploited, and they said that they fixed the problem, but they haven't. The coins haven't all been turnstiled. A lot of coins remain in the original shielded pool, not Orchard, which is the latest one. I believe it's Orchard. Correct me if I'm wrong. So it's like and again, that's just like one other, like this is one of so many things we could look at. It's like how could anyone trust this project? Like the tech is cool, everyone's using ZK snarks, but like that doesn't mean you have to use Zcash.
Why is Zcash on exchanges but Monero isn't as well? Like I feel like if a privacy coin works, it's not on exchanges. Maybe I'm just being naive here, but that's my logic.
The connection, there's like a corporation behind Zcash, right? And they can lobby, they can do all this stuff, they can throw a little bit of power around, and then also part of that is because they becoming compliant was them integrating the T address. So like by default, like Zcash is not private, and so when you withdraw your Zcash from an exchange, you have to then shield it. And there's some potential heuristical issues around shielding and unshielding, because it's just like somewhat how Monero is not a condom for Bitcoin. The Zcash shielded pool is not necessarily a condom for transparent Zcash, right? So in that sense, it's still like not something that you want to I'm going to put 10 Zcash in the shielded pool, then immediately take it out. And with how low the transaction counts are, that's heuristics are terrible for you if you actually extrapolate and then look at how many of those are actually like transparent pool transactions. So that's one of the main reasons. Well, there's main two reasons. But even then, it's like it's kind of ridiculous that it's even still like, oh, Monero can't be, but these other coins can, because Zcash at the end of the day, if you do shield your Zcash, then it is, and you keep it in the shielded pool, it is private. It is pretty private. So the fact that Zcash is still allowed in the exchanges and Monero isn't is just kind of like silly. But it also makes you think a little bit. It's like, okay, why is Zcash allowed and Monero isn't? Well, it could just be because of this weird little loophole with the T addresses, and then their ability to use their corporate influence to, you know, keep
What
it
it comes
exchanges. But at the same time, it's not like Monero is illegal to be on any of the exchanges. It's not illegal at all. And it seems like there's other things that might be going on behind the scenes preventing Monero from being like staying on these exchanges. So I don't know.
And what it comes down to is the communities. Like Monero wasn't willing to bend to the regulations. Like the government said bow and lick the boots, and we said fuck off.
I mean, I'm not gonna totally shit on like the fact that they have a TIAG and all this stuff. I think to some degree we are just seeing the pros and cons of like them being able to, like, you know, I guess sort of play to the desires a little bit more, while still maintaining like the ability to be private. But once again, I think Monero just still wins, and it has won over people just because of the whole private by default. There's no question about whether your Monero is private or not, and there's no issues with making it private. So, and of course, Zcash up until only somewhat recently had a trusted setup, and it's had a lot of its own issues in the past. So it's not like Zcash has been like this good forever. So
are there actual ways to use Zcash? Like, so for example, if I want to use my Monero to buy something that I shouldn't, there's plenty of places that take Monero. Most places only take Monero. Nowhere's going, oh yeah, send your Zcash for this, like whatever it may be. Like it seems like even if Zcash is private and like is all set up that way, it seems like there's no use for it. It seems like it's just some other like money go up coin. I just honestly, I don't understand the point of crypto other than Monero. I know I'm probably being really naive here, but like Monero's got the infrastructure around it outside of the coin, in the sense of you can go buy and sell things with Monero. You can use XMR Bazaar. You can use all these things. You can go, you know, at one point, 50% of my shopping was done with Monero with like Cake Wallet. Do you know what I mean? You can't really do that with Zcash. I don't see the point. Maybe I'm being silly here. Maybe I'm overlooking it. Maybe people just like to gamble, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, like this space is already like incredibly niche. Like crypto in general for actual like use is like really niche. Like most people are just at it, you know, speculating. And then privacy, currency specifically, is like even nicher. Sorry, who's talking? You're really quiet. Whoever's talking.
Oh, it might be
Alaska, you're too quiet.
I think I can fix it. Hold on.
What were you saying, Tux?
I was
you're
just
saying
that
that crypto is niche and that Monero is even.
Yeah,
niche.
And then privacy, like in general, is already incredibly niche. And then you have like something like Zcash. It's like, why would somebody like choose to try and use that over Monero when Monero's actually accepted a lot of places? And it is kind of a chicken and egg issue, but just because of how niche these spaces are, it's like, why wouldn't you just choose Monero already? Because it doesn't have that kind of corporate stink that Zcash has, and it's actually accepted. It actually has use. It kind of, and like people like to harp on, oh, you know, privacy isn't just for criminals. Why are you using the darknet market statistic? Well, it's not because we're saying that privacy is only for criminals. It's because people who are buying illegal drugs in the dark market have an immediate greater like need for privacy, and they're more conscious of that. So they're going to seek out the things that are immediately more private and protect them more provably than something that's, you know, maybe less tested or something that's not even, you know.
That was McAfee's point as well. Like I remember seeing the video of McAfee saying, like, if the people on the dark web are using Monero, then you should be using Monero. Like with the people with the most to lose are using it, then, you know, everyone should use it. Like it makes sense.
And it's like, sure, they've fallen, you know, criminals have fallen for stuff like honeypots, like the Anon phone or whatever, but Monero's been around for such a long time. And all the cases of people getting prosecuted that, you know, have Monero mentioned, they got caught with something outside of Monero. Like Monero wasn't the reason that they caught this person. It was something peripheral to it. They had to get around Monero by convincing them to accept Bitcoin or finding some other poor OBSEC thing about them. And, you know, granted, there's ways that Monero is, you know, improving, and that's why we're getting FC++. But even then, like today, as it stands, there is no entity that is proven to be able to deterministically trace Monero transactions. Yes, there are some gotchas here and there. Same thing for Zcash. but there is no entity that can deterministically trace a Monero transaction, even as it stands today. So, you know.
And for someone who's been, sorry, continue.
I'm just checking my sound real quick. Is it better or not?
You sound lovely.
Much.
All right, carry on, Robbie. I apologize.
The name's escaping me. Who are the people that tried to do? They did the orphan blocks. You were literally just talking about them. Like, yeah. What's going on with that? I've been kind of out of the loop. I'm trying to avoid Twitter as much as possible. There's like far too much like rage bait. It's crazy. Like every other account's like an Israeli bot. It's horrible. But what's happening with that? Are we done with them? I posted a meme about us defeating them, but I'm not actually sure if that's true or not. What the fuck's going on with that?
Yeah, they're definitely not defeated. They're kind of down, but they're not out. And in general, it's an attack vector that's still possible. It seems like you have to pay for the privilege to do it. Like they have to buy the hash rate. They have to find, they've got to encourage miners to go into their pool. Seems like about 20 to 30% of the Monero hash rate is just totally up for to be bought by the highest bidder, including an attacker, unfortunately. So it's an attack vector that remains. It's not profitable. Like nothing that I can see in my simulation shows that it's profitable. All of the spy mining that like Data Hoarder and other guys have done doesn't look like it looks like they're losing 18%. They're leaving 18% on the table. Part of that is because they're retarded and they're not doing it in an efficient manner, but it's still a possibility. And in a lot of ways, they might have actually been taking it easy on us. They might have been able to reorganize the chain significantly more often than what they did. And it also seems like they might slightly be worried about legal consequences. It seemed like they kind of like, and we can only see it a little bit, kind of at the periphery of the way that they were acting, like with inference into kind of their responses. But it seemed like they may have been slightly concerned about the legal consequences.
Yeah, because they're like a legit corporate entity, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they've got their little corporate formation and some exchanges that are not totally outside of the regulatory landscape. For example, Kraken. Maybe if they end up losing money because of what Cubic did, maybe they could go after them and sue them, and say, hey, that's fraudulent. You attacked an exchange, So they can't even leverage their reorganizations for to do a double spend. Although people's transactions have been reversed, and if the sender doesn't resend that transaction after the fact, that effectively acts like a double spend for the person that was supposed to have received the coin. It's not a double spend, but
yeah, it's almost impossible to do a targeted double spend in Monero. But yeah, it's obviously not ideal that there was legitimately like 180 transactions that were effectively reversed. And that is like the big headline, I guess, is that one reorg that was so large that it did cause reverse transactions. And that's why the devs are quickly trying to, basically retrofit some solution to prevent that from happening in the immediate term, and then figuring out what can be done longer term to make it even more resilient from that happening, because that obviously is a big concern, because that affects the security of the network. So to everyone that was I guess maybe being overzealous about the Cubic thing, I guess to that extent you were correct. They did manage to do a reorg, a pretty large one, even without really 51%ing for a very long time. So, but at the same time, they're spending money, they're losing so much money, they're pulling money out of their ass to do that, and so it's not like it's free, right? It's not like it's cheap at all. So,
yeah, let's talk about that for a second. The overzealousness. There's this concept that I have. I mean, it's not mine. Somebody else told me about it a long time ago, but you can be wrong for the right reasons and you can be right for the wrong reasons, right? Like under the presence of incomplete information, you might make the correct decision for all the information that you have at the moment. That you could be at like a poker table, right? It's like kind of a game theory thing. You could take the absolute best decision that you could have taken on the information that you have, but it can end up being the wrong decision. But at least you made the wrong decision for the right reasons. On the converse side, you can have a belief about something, and you could end up being right, but for the wrong reasons. It's like, well, the sun is going to set tonight because purple smells like Kool-Aid or some shit, like something stupid, right? Like,
I think there was a lot of that. Like I'm sure you're inferring, there's a lot of that with the cubic thing. And then I'm not even talking about the people, all the fucking like influencer journalists, you know what I'm talking about, who were so happy. They were so happy to go and run with that 51% narrative when nothing actually had happened. This was before they even did that large reorg, and they were lying. They were already lying about 51%ing to try and, well, make it easier for them to do that. And a lot of people were so happy to run with that and, you know, get all their views for that or whatever, and not rescind it when they were rightfully corrected by the Monero community for it being totally BS, and then like lying about manipulating the statistics and stuff. So yeah, I'm not even talking about those people. Those people can go suck us.
I think what's most disheartening, I remember listening to like Monero talk like maybe a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, and they were talking about like how good it was that if we were ever attacked, we could just, you know, because of oh my god, what's the algorithm we use? What's the mining algorithm we use? RandomX. Because of RandomX, you could just turn on your PC, turn on your phone, and then just start mining to prevent that sort of attack. We all knew we were being attacked. We all were worried about it. It's all we saw, but it seemed like we weren't able to like raise the amount of hash power we needed to fend it off. I think that, to me, that's the thing that worried me the most, and I didn't really see anyone talking about like, hey, we had the opportunity to prove ourselves, and it just didn't happen. That big thing that we cheered ourselves on for, like, hey, we can prevent this by just, you know, start mining on your car radio. That didn't happen.
I don't think people realize how much, like, let's say we had 100,000 people mining on their phone. Okay, suddenly start mining on their phone, like at full power. The amount of hash rate that would add would be like so small it would hardly make a difference. And then you got to also take into account that, you know, people can't be mining on their phone at full power. If people are mining on their phone, it's going to be like, you know, really small amount. But then like you got things like car rate, like all this stuff, like even if you combine it like with tons of them, the amount is going to be absolutely minuscule compared to the people who are actually using like 16 core Ryzen 9, or the people who are buying tons of server space and rack space, and, you know, using like these massive epic CPUs that are very new, very efficient, have lots of cores. So yeah, even though it's like nice to like you know, like to have people, like, you know, as many people as possible using everything they can to mine, at the end of the day, like these tiny things, it's like not really going to make that much of a difference. If people have like desktops, then it's a little more meaningful. But like basically you're up against, you know, people like Cubic who have like tons of like data center space and have tons of like really new shit, you know what I mean?
But
so
with that said, you're absolutely right. But with that said, we also have to cheer on the fact that the Monero community did not flinch. They said, okay, there was an 18 block reorg. Well, we'll wait 30 confirmations and continue using our chain.
I never even did that. I just used it normally. I didn't even realize it happened until days later. Because
some exchanges started requiring 30 confirmations. Like even Havana decided to go with a 30 confirmation thing. But it's like, okay, that's fine for an exchange. That's perfectly fine. And if you're buying something really expensive, you can definitely do that. Like it turned out to be all right. If you're getting a cup of coffee and you get reorged, it's like, okay, whatever. If you're getting a Maserati and you get reorged, that's a different story.
Now, I am curious if anyone saw, because I didn't see anything. I didn't see any like business or individual come out and show that, hey, my transaction got reversed.
I haven't heard of anything at all.
It may have just been potentially exchanges who were like sending funds out to people, or I didn't see. I was very curious if we were going to see some business come out and, point out the fact that they had one reverse. But as far as I know, I didn't actually see that. It could have just been mostly exchanges that were like doing payouts, or maybe like mining pools doing payouts. I don't know.
See, when you're renting hash power, I think there should be a service where someone sets up where you just like a one-click solution. Go to their website, click it, and then you're mining directly. Paste your XMR address. They take 10%, whatever, and then you're buying it for them, and you can pay with XMR. I don't see why the community hasn't done that yet, because that's the whole reason I haven't. I'd much rather do that than fucking buy on an exchange, because I don't have ID. I can't use KYC. I think it'd be brilliant if someone had a service where you could just buy hashing power and it's just set up already. Do you know what I mean? They just plug it into like a data center's API where they can just set it up.
Well, you've got, and I use this, and a lot of people use this, and this is one of the more effective ways people were able to get hash rate. I don't know if you saw what Xenu had, like the defense fund, and he actually was able to meaningfully raise the hash rate of Monero Ocean Pool. So you want to talk about like ways that are like effective? Well, if you can pool a lot of money and you can rent, use it to rent hash rate, then you can actually make a difference. Now you're still losing money, right? You're still losing quite a lot, because unfortunately Monero isn't super profitable right now. The price needs to go up quite a bit more before it starts to become really profitable. But he was able to meaningfully raise the hash rate using miningrentals.com. And it's not one click like you're saying, but it's pretty simple. It doesn't require a lot of work. Now at the same time, it looked like a lot of those systems may have also been like mining cubic as well, potentially. It's hard to know. But like if you've got a gaming computer at home, like if you've got like a Ryzen, just like honestly, just use that. You should just use that. If you can spare the energy cost.
Bro, I live in Scotland. It's like my energy bill like a month is like £300. That's like, what's that?
You don't live in the ideal place for that, my friend.
That's like 500-600 freedom bucks, like that. Yeah, nah.
Where did you say you lived?
Scotland.
Okay, what about winter? So it's we're getting colder right now. What about using Monero mining for some heat?
I don't think that's realistic. I always hear about that, but I've never thought it was realistic. I mean, also, gas prices are quite low here, like as in like gas, like actual gas, not like gasoline. And my house is like gas heated, but electric power. Okay. So like my boiler is like I spend maybe £30 a month on gas, and then electricity. Yeah.
See, here where I live, it's getting colder, and I'm just able to use my Monero miner as some extra heat. Mind you, my CPU is only 100 watts or whatever, so I have to actually use my other heater to meaningfully make a difference. But that's 100 watts of heat I don't have to use from the actual heater.
It'd be different. So I used to have a bigger rig. I used to have like an actual mining rig. I had like 3 3070s like set up in like that's how I got into Monero. I used to sell GPUs like in bulk, and then some guy was selling like mining rigs. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna get a mining rig and then learn about it so I can sell GPUs better. And then I found out about Monero because I was like, oh, it'd be cool if you could mine it with like your CPU. And then I looked up CPU mining, and then that's how I found Monero. But like my PC is decent for mining. Like I've got a Ryzen 7, but it's just never worthwhile, man. Like my power just goes out. Like it's actually a joke.
Yeah, it's not worth it for me to mine directly either, but I just do it because I want to help the network.
It'd probably be cheaper for me to rent hashing power because I'd have no issue. I mean, how much is it that you lose percentage-wise, just roughly, by buying like hashing power for Monero?
I think you lose like at least 30 to 40%.
Okay, that's not ideal. I'd be willing to lose like 20. I'd be willing to just £300 a month, lose 20% out, but 30 to 40.
I mean, at that point, you just go on Retweet Swap and put up an offer for 15%. Somebody will take it for certain. and stupidly quick.
Yeah, I don't have ID. I refuse to like participate in.
Oh, I'm saying like cash by mail or cash by mail or something.
Well, I used to use local Monero, and then that got shut down. Is there another like third party like?
Yeah,
where you can actually...
it's called ReToSwap. Haveno ReToSwap.
Right. And everyone talks about Havano. I've tried to set it up. Keep in mind, I'm fairly retarded. Like, I mean, like, you know, so. But Havano, like, you have to download it on your computer, don't you?
Yes. So Haveno is a program you download on your computer. Haveno is the testnet software, so it's not an actual like live mainnet. You can't use it to actually like trade real Monero. You can only use it to trade testnet Monero. So you'll need ReToSwap, which is the mainnet version of a Haveno network. And it's ReToSwap, ReToSwap.com.
Okay. Tux, have you ever thought of talking to Doug about getting like Monero tutorials done for Monerotopia to actually go on the YouTube channel? Like, you know, just like very simple, like beginner stuff. So it means like when you onboard someone onto it, like if I'm onboarding someone to Monero, I can link them to like a seven video playlist on Monerotopia and be like, hey, here you go. This is how you get
if they
involved.
want to do it, someone can do it. No one's stopping anyone.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Vic just said, just use Cake Wallet. Very true. By the way, you said you're in Scotland, right? I think you have the DFX exchange available to you. So DFX.Swiss, they're actually a really good exchange. They have Monero, and you can do up to, I think, like 1,000 euros a day per 24-hour period. No KYC, and you can just use a bank account. But you don't have to show your driver's license or any of that stuff. So if it's like an issue of like you're willing to use like a bank account, but you don't have, or you can use SEPA. I think you can do like SEPA deposits, but you don't have like an ID to actually show for KYC, then that might be an option. But if you don't have a bank account period, then I don't know if there's even a way to use it.
No, did you say DFX?
Yeah, DFX, and it's available.
I'll look into it. My bank blocks like most crypto transactions. Like I've tried to, you know how on Cake Wallet you have like, is it Moon something?
You got MoonPay. Yeah.
My bank account blocks like MoonPay. It blocks loads of stupid things, man. But no, I'll look into it
because it might work for you.
Yeah, because I used to just bank transfer some guy on local Monero and then boom, sorted. I mean, it was just
and if nothing else, you can do that same thing with ReToSwap.
Yeah, no, I'll look into that. So sorry, I realized that I should know this stuff. I've been in the community for like years now. It's been like 4 years now.
It keeps changing. It keeps changing because Monero's like once upon a time it was on Binance, and I don't think it's ever on Coinbase, but it keeps getting more and more limited. So we just have to keep finding different ways to get around that, unfortunately. But yeah, if you want, you can try to buy some like I can't do this in the US because DFX isn't available in the US, but since you're in Scotland, if you open Cake Wallet and you go to buy, you should have an option to buy Monero, and it should be like DFX will probably be the only option. So
yeah, I'll have a look. Cake Wallet is such a lifesaver. What was the thing about stocks that you were saying earlier?
So we introduced we have an integration with X stocks, which is kind of like a tokenized representation of US stocks. It's on Solana, which if you don't like Solana, whatever, but you can actually participate in like sort of owning a piece, like a representative piece of like a US tech stock in Solana as a token, and you don't have to like do anything to get it. You just swap some Solana token for the X stock. And it might work on ETH as well, but I think it's on Solana mainly right now.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, but you don't need to like file anything. It's like normally when you want to buy some stocks, you got to set up an account on a brokerage and you have to, do all the KYC stuff, but you don't have to do that here. So it allows you also, if you're not a US citizen, to, take part in investing in a US company. With the US
are funds represented as well? Like, could I put money into like a mutual fund for that, or is it just individual stock?
No, it's like individual stock, right? And then if you get instead of like you getting like a dividend, like you're getting paid, that just automatically gets reinvested as more of that same stock, right? So you get a little more of that stock token.
I think I think he was more interested in, are there any ETFs or is it just individual stocks?
No, it's just well, I don't know. You'd have to check, but it's mostly like tech stocks and then some other ones. Like you've got Apple, Microsoft, and you also have like McDonald's, Home Depot, stuff like that. So
yeah, because I used to invest, and then they kicked me off the platform because they need KYC, which is ridiculous because they've got like my version, like our version of like what's your big number that you guys have?
Social security number.
Yeah, they have my version of like a social security number. You'd think that would be enough for KYC, but clearly not. Honestly,
there's so much to what you're saying, man. That's like fascinating to me because a lot of the time on the show, there's a not contention amongst the people talking, but there's contention when it comes to the Monero community about how getting in and out of Monero, a lot of people see it as way bigger of a problem than people are willing to acknowledge within the community sometimes. And then there's also like the technical know-how gap for people who can seamlessly use Monero versus people who can't. But another thing that I thought was really interesting about what you're saying, it dawned on me a little while ago because I do a lot of outreach with people who are not crypto bros. I work in very blue collar and trade industries on a daily basis. They all hate the government. They all hate banks. I don't think I've ever met a blue collar worker that's like, govern me harder, daddy. And almost all of them, if they've heard of any crypto, including Bitcoin, they've also heard of Monero. And I don't think anyone has ever even brought up Zcash to me. Not one time. I don't even know of anybody in like the regular normal people world who have ever even heard of Zcash. The people who are like terminally online, they all know of Zcash and they're like, oh, Zcash came out of nowhere, but that's not something that I see in the real world. Nobody in the real world has a clue.
Hey, Elastic, just to let you know, your microphone's like breaking. Like you'll be perfectly fine 1 minute and then you'll be too quiet. And then
you gotta like talk like at it because it sounds like you're just like it's just like going in and out.
I might be broken. I don't know. My kids like to play with it. Is it?
Oh, bro, the amount of shit my kids have broken in my house. I've broken 3 TVs in the last.
Seems all right. For now.
2 Nintendo Switches, 3 TVs, 1 Xbox. Honestly, man, it's a joke. Like it's actually it's become oh man. And now I know what people mean by kids are expensive. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like one person has mentioned Zcash. I work blue collar as well. I used to be a welder. I'm not a welder anymore because my welding shit. I'm a machinist now, but same company. And some guy came up to me. He's like, "Oh, you really like your crypto? Did you see Zcash went right up? And it's like private, like that one you like." And I'm like, "Oh, honestly, man, I wanted to shove him in front of the fucking lathe." But yeah, like I'm the same. Like if I talk to people who aren't crypto bros, but they're kind of like, I don't like the government. Keep in mind the attitude in Scotland's a lot different. We are very much so like govern me harder, daddy. It's really bizarre. It's like it's like living in California, but it's cold. But yeah, like people, they either know about Bitcoin or they know about Monero. Like that's what I've found as well. I don't really hear no one's bringing up Bitcoin and then like they're into it and not bringing up Monero. I mean, I was doing an event for a different company I work for, and I was talking to a guy. He's like, "Yeah, I'm really into Monero," and I'm like, "What?" Like I didn't expect to hear it in like real life. And then he's like, "Yeah, I get this stuff and I get that stuff with it." And he's like, "Do you have session?" And I was honestly, it felt like I was on a different fucking planet because I'm so used to people not knowing anything about like digital privacy and not caring.
There's another really crazy part about what you're saying though. If my mic sucks too bad, just cut me off and I'll get rid of it. But
honestly, it's not even that bad. It wouldn't be bad enough for me to have even commented on it before. It's just you're a wee bit wavy.
I'm about to buy a new one here in like 5 seconds, but the other thing that kind of dawned on me about watching the progress of Monero's, I guess, value proposition. So as a matter of happenstance, like a work related thing, I had to move a lot of money, both in business and personal accounts, all at once. We had done a job where like a lot of people had to be paid out all at once, like different contractors that had worked for us and everything. And between the hold times on different banks and between all of the like KYC and going and personally signing documents and showing IDs and all this other stuff, it took almost a full 14 days to pay people. 14 days. And I even had like all the documentation you could possibly need for like where the money came from, who it was going to, W-9s, all of that stuff. And like, lucky for me, because of the nature of our business, that, you know, people who were like desperate, we could pay them in cash and then like, you know, do the accounting later and all that stuff. But it's gotten to the point now where FedCoin and, you know, fiat Fed note garbage has gotten almost unusable. And supposedly like the US dollar is just super liquid and everybody accepts it and all this. But banks aren't even accepting it anymore. Like they'll make you wait 7 days before they even acknowledge that you have any money.
It can destroy lives, man. Like I used to work for a water company, and we took her bill jumped massively, right? And it was incorrect. And we took a direct debit, and it was like we put an extra 0 onto our meter read. It was clearly wrong, right? And we could prove it. And we took this direct debit, small business. And we went to her like, hey, yeah, we just file an indemnity claim. You can get that money back in like a few days from your bank. And she's like, I've got payroll tomorrow. I mean, it's honestly a joke. Like the banking system hurts so many people. And I think we don't realize it because it's just the little people, and they just kind of get squashed by this like steamrolling machine of just like the system. And it's bureaucracy as well. It's not even malicious. And like, yeah, there's people tracking us. Yeah, there's this weird thing underground that they want to kill us all. And all. But even beyond that, just people aren't angry enough about bureaucracy. Like it's the worst thing ever, and it's just destroying the world. And like, I wouldn't be surprised if multiple million people died a year just because some cunt was being obtuse. Sorry, I know Americans don't like the word cunt. I apologize.
No, I don't think you need to apologize. Say what you mean.
Well, that's the other thing too, is like if you think of just the productivity loss with like, you know, 50 million manager Karens locked up in Jew daycare instead of like actually doing anything productive. And they still can't even like fix any of this stuff. You know, they can't like, there's no mechanism to adjust the accounting at the end of all of this. And or like a really good example is even things like bank to bank transfers or even in-house banks. So one of the business owners, he was trying to pay himself for a loan that he made to his own company. So he loans money to his own company for an asset, and then he's trying to pay himself back. And he owns both bank accounts, and they're in the same bank, and he can't move his own money from his own company back to himself in a reasonable amount of time. You're talking like 7-day holds and stuff and it's not like the money went anywhere. It's not available in one account. It's not available in the other accounts. There's people calling him to make sure it's not a scam that he gave himself his own money.
And
it's so silly, man. I mean, like I think you and I are fairly lucky in the sense that we work in like blue collar jobs where like our workplaces tend to be more. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? And they kind of. I've never worked a blue collar job until I worked this job here, and the amount of people that are just reasonable, and they're like, yeah, no, you're 10 minutes late. That's fine. Your bus doesn't arrive until 10 minutes after then. And like, other than like, oh, we have to put this through on this mad system and then have to do this on this mad system. Oh, we can't pull your holiday days from next year to this year. That's against the system. It's like, nah, they just fucking... Oh man, bureaucracy makes me so angry. Like, even more than the tyranny, even more than this weird psyop that they have to like just castrate everyone essentially. Like, even beyond that, even beyond them like systematically killing babies, it's the bureaucracy that just makes me so angry. Like, genuinely angry. The amount of times I've had horrible thoughts just because of bureaucracy. Never anything else. Just, it's always like fill in this fucking form. Shove your form up your arse. Honestly, get too far. Sorry.
This is Alaska Anon, but Scottish. Yes, where have you been, sir? You need to come on more often.
Okay, guys. I'm going to run the guest segment since we didn't have a proper guest. And then I'll
Robbie
probably
is the guest.
Yes, Robbie is the guest. Thank you, Robbie. And then I'll probably end it off here just because Doug is currently not at his computer and I have to go myself. So if someone else had something they really want to get off their chest, really want to say, I'll go ahead and run the guest segment and then end it right here.
Yeah, it's fine. It's lovely being on, guys. And I wish I could get on more often.
Thank you for coming on, Robbie.
Have a great week.
And please try DFX and feel free to text me if it works. I'd like to know. I'd be very curious if that works for you.
And we'll see you at Monerotopia, right, Robbie? You're coming.
And come back on the show more often.
I'll get there with my passport that I definitely have. Honestly, I'm tempted to speak to like some of the guys like that are coming over here illegally and see if they can get me over to Mexico legally, man. Like, because I'm gonna have to take the knee. I'm gonna have to get a fucking passport, and I'm really not wanting to do that.
I'm gonna answer this question real quick. T Towel Holder said, "Isn't Cakewall based in USA? Can anything happen to Cake is abstract? No, because we don't actually sell people crypto. Like, all the swaps and stuff we have, that's third parties. We don't actually do any of that. So yeah, we're not at risk of like getting shut down like Trade Ogre, because the thing is we don't actually provide liquidity for anything. We just have
Cake wallet works everywhere. It doesn't. My wife was in Ireland the other day getting some guy at the pub to like sign up for Cake Wallet. Sign up, like download it and then use Monero. I think she's onboarding more people than me.
Based. But yeah, thanks everyone. I'm gonna run the guest segment and then we'll end it off here. So thanks so much everyone for coming on, and I guess we will see you next week.
The Monerotopia guest segment is sponsored by Cake Wallet. Store, send, receive, and exchange your Monero and Bitcoin safely on iOS and Android too. Cake Wallet is open source, and you always control your own keys.
Thanks everyone. Thanks Robbie for coming on, and have a good weekend, guys.
See you next week.
God bless you all.
Thank you for joining us on this week's Monerotopia episode. We stream live shows every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can find and subscribe to our show on YouTube and Odyssey, or listen to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or Stitcher. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or join us in the Monerotopia Telegram group. See you all next week.